Habari ya jioni Wakenya wenzangu, na ndugu yangu hapa Miguda pia tuko naye hapa kwa studio. This is Brother Benson Media and we are welcoming you this evening to our usual evening discussions that we usually do as we wait for also um, the second session of this that usually comes in at 10. Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu. Salama Kenya.
Mnasukuma gurudumu la maisha.
Gurudumu la maisha na siasa.
Unajua, you know that Kenya is the only, if you look at right now in East Africa, Kenya is the only country that the politics, immediately elections are over, the politics starts until the next general election. The politics never cease to end in Kenya. There is no time that you'd say that now this is a time that we need to focus so much on development. So it's politics, because immediately the presidential results are announced, either somebody is going to go to court to petition that the results do not reflect the will of the people. Then from there, after the petitioning, what will happen? The Supreme Court will do the hearing, then the judgment will come. Then what will follow is maandamano after maandamano, then handshake, then realignment. So that is how our politics is. But that is what we usually have. Before we proceed to the main discussion of today, there's some few briefings that I would want to share with you. There's a post somewhere that says, is he the next speculation rift over ODM and UDF MPs met Kangata in a closed-door meeting today. Seemingly, Kangata might be, they are pushing it for maybe he might be the deputy if they met. Court declined to stop Senate trial. That is something that we are going to also talk about. There's also another one here that court declined to stop. No, sorry. Gachagua's office respond over a posters announcing press briefing. Remember that we also were talking about it, and that's also like I'm seeing here. That is like a briefing here. And what else would I see here that might be of great for our Kenyan sisters and brothers? There's also a post that say that Moses Kuria sends warning to Mount Kenya MPs. I don't know. You can read if you get that. Tension rocks Azimio as claims emerge of who Uhuru is secretly backing. That is a part of him. Bad news to Waiguru as Ruto final list of 2 leaders likely to. Yeah. Ichungwa reacts as on Ruto allies face hostility in Mount Kenya and Karua Slum, you know. And there's something also here that we need to just to give you a preview of. I think also you shared it with me. I also had it. I don't know whether somebody had seen it about Ichungwa. Was it on Wednesday, Miguda? Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday when Ichungwa was saying, okay, the majority leader, Ichungwa, says National Assembly is ready to scrutinize proposed names for deputy president, Senate impeachment trial against DP Gachagua to begin on Wednesday. From the look of things, it seems that Kimani Ichungwa they are very, 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 very sure of what is taking place, and everything is in place. Everything will fall as time goes. You know, everything has been put in place. Unajua hivyo. So that is something that is there. So today, the court made a ruling, and this ruling is, could I say, it's a big blow to the Rigathi Gachagua team, because they were looking for conservatory orders to stop the Senate from proceeding with the impeachment, but that was not done. And what does it mean to Rigathi Gachagua and his team on the ruling that was done few hours ago?
Thank you, Brother Benson. The previous time I told you about that no one can be sure about the outcome of the court proceedings because there was speculation that Rigathi Gachagua is going to be given an order, or there's going to be an order from the court, conservative orders that which
Mhm.
are going to prevent Senate from proceeding with the impeachment process. And I told you that you cannot know the outcome of the court. It's just like a football match. You can't wait until 90 plus minutes so that you can confirm that which team has lost and which team has won. So I think the Rigathi Gachagua's council, they are trying by all means to fight. It's good. You'd rather fight than sitting down. Until you don't have any option is when you can give up. So there's no need of giving up.
Yeah.
They are trying to venture all possible way to get out of uh, this mess. You heard from Justice Chacha Mwita
Yeah.
who has declined the conservative orders. But remember, by the time he was declining that conservative orders, Rigathi Gachagua Defense Counsel were at Milimani Law Court before Justice Ogola and the other two.
Yeah.
They had application that the Senate could not proceed with the impeachment, and the ruling is going to be made tomorrow at 8 a.m. because time is of essence in this matter, and the
Okay.
matter has reached Senate. So tomorrow 8 a.m. we are expecting another ruling from Ogola and the other two judges to decide on the application by the defense counsel. And they were given 7 minutes each because they now that the petitioners.
Yeah.
In this case now it is the Rigathi Gachagua who's the petition in the court. So they were given 7 minutes, and also the respondent were given 5 minutes. So tomorrow before the Senate resume by 9:30 a.m., we are going to hear from the High Court whether the Rigathi Gachagua team has been given order that the court has stopped the constitutional process. So I think now the Rigathi Gachagua team are busy in the corridors of justice, but we are just by tomorrow 8 a.m. I told that we can't speculate anything until we find out by tomorrow 8 a.m. Now from there we can see how the events will unfold. But for now, the Rigathi Gachagua's team, the judgment has not favored them.
Okay.
That's very normal if you go to court.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother Meguda, for that. And there are few highlights that I will also you will help us understand, and we will discuss about what we picked from the judgment that was made by Judge Mwita. And today, if you're watching us for the very first time, we are kindly requesting you to support this channel by subscribing and be part of the team. And also, you can comment and share with us what you think about the judgment that was made today by in the courts. We will really, really appreciate and share, like, and that. So there's something that was saying that the court has jurisdiction. What does that one mean?
Or the court has jurisdiction.
Yes.
It means that, there were some articles which were cited by the time the judge was making his statement.
Yeah.
And if you look at our constitution, Article 165, it spelled out the role of the judiciary, to be precise, the High Court.
Yeah.
And the Article 165, sub-article 3, it's very clear that the courts have jurisdiction. It means that the court has the capacity to hear and determine fundamental rights and freedom of individual, whereby you as individual, you have that right to move to court, whether you feel that your right has been infringed or have been violated. Like Rigathi Gachagua, that his right has been violated and it has been infringed individually. So you can move to court as an individual to seek interpretation, also to seek justice from that court. So it means that the court was admitting that indeed they have their jurisdiction to listen or to hear any matter that related to any violation of the rights and fundamental freedom of an individual. So it has that capacity. And That is how I can define the word jurisdiction in relation to Article 165.3 and in relation to the current case, the current matter before, which was before the Justice Chacha.
Yeah, and these are just terms that were being used. We just and there's also one that a petition is not sub judice. What sub judice? Those what are those? Like sometimes we could just listening to these terms and we don't understand them, and we have
So
to layman. Yeah,
sub judice in law, it
yeah,
means that's sub judice. It can be traced back to Latin. It was derived from Latin word the sub judice. It means under judgment. Sub means under, then judice means judgment. So it means that the case is under judgment. Wherever the case is under judgment, no one is permitted by law to disclose any materials of the case or discuss the case either on social media, mainstream media, or anywhere. Because if you try to discuss the cause which is before under judgment,
yeah,
before the court, you might influence the outcome of the ruling, or you might influence the outcome of the case. Because what if you discuss a case which is under judgment, sub judice? It means that you are going to interfere with the process of the case. You ought to that discretion is left for judges or is left for the lords to decide on the outcome of the case, not you. Because, for instance, if you are a petitioner or you are a defense in that case or respondent, and discuss the merits or the merits of the ruling before any judge or any lord made the decision, it means you are going to interfere with the process. So sub judice means that under judgment, still under judgment. So no one is allowed to discuss about it until sometimes we've had people are arguing that I can't talk about that case because it's still before the court until we find out the final conclusion by the court. Is when we can discuss the merits and the merits of the ruling. But when the case is still before a judge,
yeah.
you are not permitted by law to discuss it because it can influence the outcome of the ruling.
So this one applies to uh, the members, or it applies to the, let's say, like the parties that are executing that case, or this applies to the public or everybody who should not.
Yeah, it applies to the public because, like right now, I'm before you and you can ask me what are the merits and demerits of of the case. So if I disclose any merit and demerit and I've not had or I've not read any decision, it means that I'm influencing the outcome of it. So you are not permitted to discuss any merits or demerits of the case while it's still under judgment. So it
Oh,
is purely for the public.
okay, thank you so much,
And
Kivumbi.
you
Thank you
know
so much. Yeah,
the, the one which was being referred by Justice Chacha Mwita,
yeah,
which was under judgment, is because they were saying that there is an application that has been applied by the petitioners to request Chief Justice Martha Koome to constitute or uh, to constitute a three-judge bench to hear the substantial constitutional interpretation. So you find out that Justice Mita was responding to them that that matter is still sub judice, it's still under judgment.
okay,
He has to discuss it in the where he was giving that order. So he said that that was still under sub judice and is the prerogative of the Chief Justice, which is also in the Article 165, sub Article 4.
hmm,
Chief Justice has that power to constitute an even number, not less than three members of judges, to hear any matter that have any substantial constitutional interpretation. So that discretion is left for the Chief Justice to appoint less than three judges, but it must be an even number, maybe 5, 7, or 11, whereby they can hear any matter that matter which has got substantial constitutional interpretation, like this one.
yeah,
So that one is still under judgment, in sub judice. So Such a matter had no authority to talk about it.
So that's why you say that the matter is certified as raising substantial questions of the law, or when you say that matter certified as raising substantial questions of the law, what
Yeah, matters raising substantial questions of the law.
uh-huh.
It means that whenever there is no clear
Yeah.
provision of the Constitution
Mhm.
about any matter,
Mhm.
it is the discretion of the, or let me say, it is the prerogative of the Chief Justice under Article 165(4) to constitute three, not less than three, but it must be an even number judges who can hear that matter so that they can give an interpretation. For example, we understand that after impeachment from the Senate, whether he's impeached or not, is when Gachagua is supposed to move to court. But now the matter has reached the Senate and the accused has moved to court. So it's raising substantial constitutional questions that, according to the process, you ought to have waited for Senate to impeach, either impeach or not impeach, then it can move to court.
Yeah.
But now the matter is in the Senate, the process is not over, but the accused has run to court. So the court will refer that matter, direct that matter to the Chief Justice, Article 165(4), where Chief Justice will constitute not less than three judges to interpret that substantial constitutional question. That's the word substantial constitutional questions comes in.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone who is watching. And if you're new here, this is Brother Benson Media. We usually has discussion to do with leadership and accountability, transparency, and also we do awareness so that we can have very good governance and a good country, because Kenya belongs to us all. We know the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is something that has been in the public domain for the longest time, and it's some kind of like boring, but also is also a very reality and a teaching to us, and make us question ourselves, what is the right way, or what can we do as a country so that we have leadership that in after coming to the office we don't have to experience what we are going through. Because at the end of the day, when such like matters are being discussed, when people discuss this, and the issues that affect the commoners or the issues that affect Kenyan people are not being put on the table. Remember, when this government came into office, it was that government that was founded on the basis of God. God was the founder. Si maombi ni Mungu. That is one. It was also a hustler government whereby the 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 law, high rank, or the law in the society, in terms of money wise or financial wise, was supposed to be in the offices. Like hii serikali ilikuwa ni mahasla, tutaitengeneza na wananchi wa Kenya, na pia tutaitengeneza na watu wa mboga. Ayaga, habari gani?
Niko poa kabisa.
Asante sana kwa kukuja. Today, the conservatory order was declined by the courts. And what does this one leave Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his legal team, in your own opinion?
Thank you very much, and all the viewers and my brother Meguda. I hope you are okay. I think Rigathi Gachagua was just trying to jump before the gun. You know, when you try to jump before the gun, you get into such situation, because when this process had kicked from the parliament, it has a timeline, and within that timeline, I don't think court can interfere with it. Courts will only come in after Thursday, after the impeachment on Thursday, is when I think Rigathi Gachagua can at least get some relief from the court. But trying to block a process that has kickstart in a kind of a judicial way. Parliament also have, like, they are just behaving like judges. So Rigathi Gachagua is on judgment, and the trial is on. And Rigathi Gachagua had all this. He knew. He had the intelligence. This thing is coming. Could have blocked it before they tabled the motion. But once the motion is tabled, the courts can only come in at the tail end of the process. So these ones, I think, were just jumping before the gun. And I've listened to lawyers. My friend, lawyers should not lie to anybody. That the law is very clear. My friend, law is not clear. This law is not clear. Law is not clear at all, at all. Even we don't know what is going to happen after Thursday. We don't know. Nobody knows.
And that one, give me to raise a question, because we know, especially Miguda, you can help us. Then Ayaga also will answer that. When who immediately deputy president is impeached, the Senate will do the gazettement. Yeah. And now, what is the role of the IEBC? Because this is a presidency. It's within the presidency. Does the IEBC has a role to play in it, or to propose the name of the chosen, or maybe like the preferred candidate that the president might appoint? Or how is it going to happen?
My brother Raga said that the law is not clear.
Yeah.
That's why you have asked that question, because I is saying that the law is not clear. I agree with him, but my way is that the law, and I believe in interpretation of it. So no one is right. That's why you find that if you go to a courtroom, you find that the defense and the petitioner, and you don't know anyone can win the case. So it depends on how you interpret, or you submit your argument, or you submit your case. That's why I can say, okay, it's never clear, yeah, but it depends with the submission, interpretation, analysis, also argument of the facts and the law. So right now, not that whatever I'm saying is the truth, but it depends on how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, like I've said earlier, that once Gachagua is impeached, president has like 14 days to appoint new deputy president. So you are asking the role of the IBC, and I said that now, in my own interpretation, I go back to the role of IBC. IBC role is to conduct elections and also do things like nominating candidates. But IBC do not appoint deputy president. The appointment of deputy president is the prerogative of the president. It is the president who appoints deputy president. There's no way that IBC is appointing deputy president. So the president once appointed the deputy president, it is the parliament which is going to approve this appointee. So parliament has that power to approve. People are asking questions like, what about academic qualification? What about the eligibility of the person? It is within the parliament to approve, the way parliament approve our cabinet secretaries. Because IBC do not appoint the deputy president, it is always the president who appoints its deputy. So IBC has got no role to appoint for people the deputy president. That's how I can interpret it. It is the role of the president to appoint the deputy president. So that prerogative is for the president. So you let the president appoint his deputy. Then the issue of IBC, I don't know if it's coming here because there's no election here. We are only appointing somebody. Therefore, Parliament will play its role of approving within that given period of time.
Okay, thank you so much. Ayaga, I want to come to you, and I'm also welcoming all our viewers from wherever you are, where you're watching. You can share with us, or you can also assist us to understand what we are going through right now as a country, because I know there's so many people in the comment section who are well versed with the law, or who can give advisory, because everybody here is trying to give their own interpretation. I tell you, like, for the last few days, I've listened to each and every lawyer who is on the bench, maybe on a TV station or in any podcast and all that. But the interpretation that each one is giving is quite much different. So, like us who do not have like background in law, sometimes you end up being confused more than you are. But like, thank you, Miguda, for always coming to assist us to understand. Now, the reason why I was asking you the issue of the IEBC, remember uh, when the election is just yet about to be carried, the person who declares that or give the certificate to run for an office is the IEBC. After all the government agencies have declared you, it's the last agency that to declare you and say, okay, now you're good to run for the office. And the the presidency come in pairs, yeah. And immediately after election, um, they are being given. I think they're given two certificates, right? There's a certificate for the president and there's a certificate for the deputy president. Yeah, which means you've won election. But now we've now impeached. Who is going to give the incoming deputy certificate to satisfy that you are duly elected or you are duly appointed by the president and the IBC has confirmed? That is what we want to know, Mr. Yaga.
Uh, I think there is a very big problem that we are going to face as a nation. Because even if you listen to these lawyers, that's where I'm saying the law is not clear. If these people tell you law is very clear, the law is written, but the interpretation of the law depends by of the demeanor, the person who is interpreting it. That is the person who you will at least try to get something from him. The issue of IBC was raised, and I watched Piki Piki Ponki yesterday in Ataman Manyora. He brought that issue for IBC. And then I was arguing last night, and then a friend of mine called me and told me, Ayaga, no, you are wrong. There is no way IBC is coming. What happened in Kisi? They impeached the deputy governor, and Arati appoint another deputy governor, and he was sworn in. So I think we are going to have a very interesting times ahead. But for now, nobody knows what is going on. Nobody knows what is going to happen. But if those are the grounds, because I believe, because there is a role IBC need to play when it comes to the appointment or the entry of a deputy president in the office. What if the president appoints somebody, a foreigner, and because he can whip the parliament, what happens? Will we not judge is not a Kenyan? Because being for you to be a deputy president, there is a certain age you have to attain. What if president today appoints somebody who is less than 35 years? President even appoints somebody who is 18 or 19 years. Now, those are the fundamental questions that I think the court will answer immediately after Gachagua. Because remember, we don't have a IBC.
Yeah, we don't have any commissioners right now as we speak.
We don't. That's why we cannot even do a by-election. But also going through the Sonko and Ann Kananu case, we are going to have, because that ruling is there in the court. I think the problem is the case in Kisi. Nobody challenged that illegality. So I think some people think it was right, but there is illegality that was committed.
Okay, now this is another case that Miguda, I want you also to share. Remember in Eldoret, Eldoret, there was the deputy president resigned, and has the new deputy, no, I mean the deputy governor, sorry, resigned. Has the new deputy governor that was appointed in Eldoret has resumed office? And what is the reason for him not resuming office and the deputy president resigned? Is there any law or clause that is stopping them from? Because like I think the issue of Gachagua is going to open so many judicial review in our constitution, so many. And maybe the MPs thought like this thing is very simple, because even after impeachment, Gachagua can still go to court and raise some issues about the IEBC, because remember, the only person that is allowed to talk or is the returning officer of the presidential election is the chair of the IEBC. But right now, we do not have. And the IEBC is also allowed by law to gazette the president and the deputy president when they are running for an office. Remember that. So which one is which? Hiyo sasa ni I don't know. Miguda, tusaidie bana.
Wacha niwasaidie.
Eh,
It is good now. My friend Ayaga is saying that the law is not clear. And that's what I'll be using to argue with him for the rest of my life. Because ameleta kitu kizuri kabisa. So anytime you try to object, we tell you that the law is not clear. But let me justify. Brother Benson, you have asked a very sensitive question. And I was not seeing it coming. And let me just give you a clear interpretation. The way you have said that it depends on how you interpret it. The good question you have asked is that now we have a new deputy president who is going to issue him certificate of IBC, because certificate are being issued to the deputy president. Let me stick to my point. IBC has got no role to play in impeachment. Impeachment is a parliamentary process. IBC deals with the elections. So because impeachment is a parliamentary process and we follow the law, the constitution, and the parliament, therefore, the reason why we do not include IBC here, because a new deputy is going to be appointed by the president and approved by parliament, whereas the Rigathi Gachagua was elected on a popular vote, on a joint ticket. The new deputy is not elected on a popular vote. He has just been appointed and approved by parliament. So there is no need for IBC to come in, because there was no election process. It was impeachment, appointment, approval by parliament, then is the new deputy. Whereas the Rigathi Gachagua, there was election and popular vote played in. So IBC must come in because they conduct elections and issue the new certificate. But the new deputy, election has not taken place. Appointment has taken place and approval by parliament. Therefore, there is no need of IBC coming in to issue certificate, because there is no election which has taken place here. It's only appointment and approval.
Okay. Let's wait and see. Ayaga, what do you say about that?
Brother Benson, the reason why I'm saying the law is not clear in this is because of one thing or two. You remember the case of Sonko and Ann Kananu. When Sonko nominates Ann Kananu immediately after Miguna rejected the appointment. Remember when Rigathi resigned, Sonko appoint Miguna. Then Miguna rejected, and they appoint Ann Kananu. Remember that name was taken to IBC. And then when things were now tough for Sonko, he wanted to withdraw that name as the appointee, because he was the one who appointed her. So he wanted to withdraw the name. And the matter went to court. And the IBC told the court, we have done our part. We have done our part. She is eligible to be the deputy governor. We have done our verification and she qualifies. And we have taken that name to the county assembly. And now it is passed. Mike Sonko, he cannot withdraw that name again. That one, IBC played a role. And it is there in the court ruling. And I'm told when a court ruling is made, it become part of the judicial process. That's
Mhm.
why they always quote the previous cases, if I'm not wrong, because when that ruling stands, it become part of the law, and you can't overpass it. So my question is, what if president make that ruling today, make appointment, and he takes that appointment to parliament, and he forgot, oh, I have appointed a wrong person. I want to appoint somebody again. What happens after that? That is why I'm telling lawyers that this thing is new to everybody. The same way we people with no legal background are thinking is the same way they're thinking. Because remember, Nelson Avi
Yeah,
was a immediate LSK president,
president. Yeah.
and according to him, his interpretation is that immediately after the impeachment on Thursday, Rigathi Gachagua has no ground and should not go to court, and that matter ends there, and nothing's happened, and he should not go to court.
Yeah. And
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 that's a senior lawyer.
and that's where now, when I saw that and I asked, because there are governors who are impeached and they went to court immediately after that. So what is the difference between the deputy president and the governors?
That is a wait and see, because brother Benson, I'm telling you, this thing is new. Even if you meet these lawyers, each of them are just interpreting this thing in a very confusing way that you cannot even have something to stick on. But the
Okay.
fact is, and the fact remains, this thing will head to court, and I think Rigathi Gachagua may have a stay order as the judicial process within those 60 days, and we're gonna see what happens. Because even you see the courts, the law, the constitution, there is the other cases like the governor one, they don't have timeline, but this one, it has timeline. Within 60 days, if there is a dispute, that case should have been solved and the country moves on. So
Okay.
it is a 60 days that we're gonna wait for the drama. But for now, interpretation is not matching anything. We are confused.
Okay. Unasema the math is not mathing. Makobura Barigani. Hello,
The math
Makobura.
is not matching.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
math is not mathing. Miguda, there's what we call administrative law. What is that? What is administrative law?
Brother Benson, administrative law,
Yeah.
that's all you need. So I don't know. That's all you need. I can take the
No,
entire semester.
no.
But let me
Okay,
brief
okay.
you.
Just
Brief you.
just give us synopsis. Like maybe 5 minutes. There's something that I want to ask you on that
Okay. Let
administrative
me
law.
just give you a little background of administrative law.
Yeah.
Administrative law, if you look at our Constitution of Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
we have in Article 47, it is spelled out that each and every person has a right to fair, not only administrative law, but fair administrative law,
Mm-hmm.
whereby you have a right to fair administrative law, and it should be expeditious. So whereby it should be seen that justice has been done, and justice must be seen to have been done to an individual, and also it must be as quickly as reasonably possible, whereby there must be fairness in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we bring in the principle of natural justice, right to fair hearing,
Mm-hmm.
and also whereby you cannot be a judge in your own case, whereby you can't decide on your own case. You can't ask monkeys to discuss the affairs of the forest. So you can't be a judge in your own case, and also you have that right of fair hearing. Or you can give the devil the due process, but therefore you should not condemn anyone without hearing.
Yeah.
Even before God sent away Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, he asked them that they were given that time for hearing. They were heard before they were condemned. So is the principle of natural justice, nature, that you don't need to condemn someone without hearing. Also, you don't need to be a judge in your own case. So it's more of it should be expeditious and is administrative justice. Then you can link it with Article 48, where access to justice. How should access to this justice? So the issue of administrative law is in the Constitution. The Constitution is one of the tools for administrative justice. If you want to do administrative justice, one of the tools is the Constitution. Lately, I've seen there is Administrative Justice Act of 2015. It was implemented. So we are now operating. We have the Administrative Justice Act and the Constitution of Kenya. So that is the brief background of it.
So which means apart from judicial review that is taking place, because this one is kind of like a judicial review, but on the Rigathi deputy president side is also going for administrative law, because he kind of like need fair hearing and that is very expediting, like very quick, so that the he could get his answers.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was almost forgetting one of the, other than the Constitution and also the Act, we also have the judicial review. Those are one of the materials that you can use to do your working when you are taking administrative justice. You have the Constitution, the Act, and the judicial review. So judicial review comes in whereby we have things like we have discussed with Ayaga, that the law is not clear. So whenever you believe that the law is not clear, so you go for the interpretation. So when you move for interpretation, you can go to court for interpretation. And the court is strict. And the way we have cited in the previous submission, that Article 165.3, 165.4, whereby the court has that power, whereby. And also, if you go for judicial review, Brother Benson, you look at Article 2, the supremacy of the Constitution. And I said here that if in any case you go for a judicial review, the question always will be, is this act or omission try to supersede the Constitution? Then we are saying there is no act or omission that can supersede the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any law, including customary law, that is inconsistent with the Constitution, is inconsistent to an extent of inconsistency, it is null and void. So if you go to seek judicial review, they will look at if that act or omission want to supersede the Constitution. For example, does it contravene the Bill of Rights? Does it contravene Article 2.4 of the Constitution? If it does, then the court will quash it out. And I cited for you two famous cases in the United States of America. The case of Roe versus Wade, whereby the reproductive rights of women were being interfered with American courts in different states, like maybe Florida has made that decision. So if it want to supersede the Constitution of America, then Constitution always supersede any law or any act or any omission. And the case of also, last case, the case of Barbary and Madison. And I will invite you to go and look at that case of Barbary and Madison. It went to the Supreme Court, whereby the Supreme Court of America made a decision that was almost superseding the Constitution. Then the judges sat down and said that if any case want to supersede the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So there is no act or omission that can supersede the Constitution. Then it was quashed away. So those two famous cases are very good example for judicial review. But the issue of administrative justice, there must be a judicial review for your learning purposes and that act and the Constitution.
Okay, thank you so much for that, because I think I'm learning. I'm learning. This is a class of its own. Mr. Yaga, despite the fact that we are still looking at what next for the Rigathi and his team, but there's this one question that people are asking, or some quarters are saying, that the broad-based government invited the exit for Rigathi Gachagua. Is it true? despite what we are looking today?
Okay. I want to thank Biguda. He has also I have also got something from him today. Yeah. I don't think the broad-based government, Bernard, and let me be clear. From today, I will minimize my things in terms of law, because law is not clear, and I will leave law to the lawyers to deal with their own profession.
Brigadier will see.
I will deal with the basic one.
Yeah,
I will only comment on political fronts.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So Benson, immediately after election,
yeah,
a country needs to heal.
true.
And when a country needs to heal, because towards the election, you have burned so many bridges, or few. Immediately after election, when you are elected into the office, you
Mhm.
need to start building those bridges. I want to assure you, and nobody, I say nobody, should blame the broad-based government for the Gashagua's exit. Number one, Gashagua took most of the first year burning bridges everywhere. And remember that time Ruto was building new bridges, and Ruto started immediately. When he started poaching MPs from the NASA, he started with the independent one, he brought them on board. He went to the UDM, the Northeastern Party, he brought them on board. Then after that, he went for MDG, he brought them on board. He went for Jubilee, almost 16 MP members of parliament. He brought them on board. Remember,
Mhm.
all this time, I, I can get some echo,
From my side or from your side?
I think, from your side.
Mine, Miguda, can you, Makobura?
I think
Okay.
it is Marco. It is Marco Bura. Is not is
Okay,
sharing his.
okay,
Oh,
fine.
okay.
You will come in.
Okay. So that William Ruto at least show the role of the presidency, that one of the role of the presidency is to unite the country. And he started by uniting, though people were saying he was poaching, but at least he was trying to build some bridges immediately after election. But Rigathi Gachagua made a lot of mistakes for the last 2 years.
Mhm.
That one is for him. You can't blame, because the only person
Mhm.
who can save Rigathi Gachagua today is Raila Odinga. And then you look around and then you ask yourself, why should Raila Odinga save Rigathi Gachagua? Rigathi Gachagua, remember the days of the last year maandamano, they were Rigathi Gachagua, Ruto used to travel, and Rigathi Gachagua could chair a security meeting that led to so many atrocities with the former Inspector General of the Police. Rigathi Gachagua has never asked us for forgiveness for the people, like 70 something people who were killed in Kisumu alone, not in Nyanza, Kisumu alone. It was a pure massacre done, watched under Rigathi Gachagua. And remember that time he was throwing Donald Trump to anybody. So Rigathi Gachagua banned so many bridges. If this impeachment, I think even if this impeachment could have come in April
Mhm.
and is being initiated by the UDA, I don't think ODM could have been there to save Gachagua. I don't think so.
Mhm.
So nothing has changed with the broad-based government.
Okay.
Rigathi Gachagua anajikaranga na mafuta yake.
You know what, Ayaga? It's a discussion that sometimes we need to have when a country like Kenya, because just to invite you, look around on a prosperity or a countries that prospering in our country. History has it that immediately we are done with election, yeah, the politics just got to high octane, yeah. as much as we might say that he did not build the bridges and the president was building the bridges, at some point, yes. At some point, no. Because building bridge, if you're building a bridge, does not mean that you have to poach those people on your side. You also have to remember that constitution give you that power as a national leader. And how can you make people understand that I'm the president and be person that obeys the law by not bringing opposition together, like taking members from opposition? That is one of them. Secondly, you've talked of something that nowadays I usually don't talk about because I feel for some good reasons the leaders in those areas have not taken initiative to find justice, especially for uh, the people who usually lose their life during maandamano. Because Kisumu is my home area, where I have stayed for so long. I know those areas. But when a substance, if something happened once, it is understandable. But if it happens continuously and it happens, we make these bridges, then such like weight matters are thrown under the carpet. We don't talk of them and we don't see justice is happening. What kind of a country are we talking about? Yeah. And if it comes to issues like, if the same energy that they have employed and resources that have employed on the impeachment of Gachagua can be transferred to these other areas whereby Kenyans feel like they are not doing well, we can grow as a country. Or what is your suggestion on that?
Thank you, brother Benson. I just want to be clear,
Yeah.
and that's why sometimes I feel pain for my party ODM, because every time these things happen, our party bring a lot of emotional to the people down
Mhm.
there. And once they have pressured the government, and once they got into this arrangement called IPPG of 1997, the Grand Coalition of 2008, the handshake of 2018, and now the broad based government, that tells you the trick is one: what changes the name? And the law of natural justice, hata kama mimi si lawyer, you should not change the name. That's why the name of Mount Carmel has just remained the name of Mount Carmel up to date. The Red Sea has been just the Red Sea up to date. You should not change the name. Why do people change the name? Even colonizers, they were changing the name to manipulate people. Now we are being manipulated, but now broad-based government is different with the handshake, is different with the Grand Coalition, and is different with the PPG of 1997 with Moi. It is very painful, and it is very something I think we will have to go down, do a very good education to our people, that when we sometimes go to the street to fight, we are not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for greedy politicians that are using that our blood to get what they want. And I want to tell you, looking down the memory lane, if you want a handshake or a grand coalition or a broad based government or whatever, that is not welcome in Kenya. If you can even have an opinion poll about it now, this one of Raila Odinga and William Ruto is not welcome, even in Luo Nyanza. That's why Raila Odinga has not rushed there to explain it to anybody, because many people have a lot of expectation. You remember there is a guy, when immediately we formed the broad-based government, he said what? Wale ambao waliuliwa Kisumu wote tumewekewa jina, tunapelekea Wandai na Mbadi. And remember, that thing sticks to the mind of the people, because that is what people are expecting. Yeah, that is what people are expecting. And now our brothers, if you look at our brothers now, we are the people who are now defending this government more than even the Kalenjins and the central people who placed this government in power. Yet we are the people who have a lot of pain down there from the lake. We have a lot of pain, and nobody now is speaking about our pain. They are speaking about Adani. We need at least Raila Odinga to take one tour before he publicly surrender for Kenyan politics. Go down there and explain to people. And number one in those explanations, we need him actually to tell us how those people who are killed in Kisumu will be compensated.
Okay. Miguda, thank you so much. And Ayagas just was talking about that, and this is also I'm inviting you as a country because there's some of the things that we need to speak about as a country and see what is the way forward. Because when you see what the leadership is doing, or when you see some of the leaders that have elected and given the mandate to protect the people, the issues that really affect the people, those are they are very weighty. They don't get so much energy or energize members of parliament or energize respective leaders to 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 take them head on the way they've done with the impeachment. Yeah, this one. And there was a time, I don't know, you remember when is it Honorable Otienda Molo that walked out of the studio when Kimani Chungwa was there, and it was like, I don't know whether he was profiling the community that Otienda Molo was coming from. It was an
Opondo Kaluma and Kagombe. It was Opondo Kaluma and Kagombe. KTN News.
No, there was also one that Otienda Molo walked out of the studio. Was it NTV when Kimani Chungwa? I will check. I will confirm that. I will confirm that and bring it to you. And such like. But now we are not seeing that. Yeah, we are not seeing that. Think about the education funding model that every parent is complaining about. Think about the migration from health, the SHA. Um, um, you know, think about so many things that Kenyans are going through, but this one are not given so much weighty as the one for the deputy of president. Mr. Miguda, what can you say about that? And what should we do? And what is the way forward as we talk about the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua?
Can you hear me clearly? I've changed my device. Can you hear me?
Hey, Jaluo, ume change. I can hear you, my brother.
I got. You are profiling me. They will start saying that you are profiling me, Jaluo.
We change the device. What? We change the device, but we use the devices. Okay, my brother.
Yeah. It depends on your consumption. So what you are referring to us is the issue. The person who walked away was Otinda Molo. They were with Kimani Ichung'wah, and Kimani Ichung'wah was filing Luos that
it
was saying that killing Luos and maiming Luos is normal. So Otinda Molo said that I can't sit in the same panel with someone who is purporting that killing Luo and Luo is normal. So he walked out of the studio. And there was no debate. And Kimani Ichung'wah also stood firm and told Otinda Molo, you can't threaten me by walking out. Just go away. So you have asked about why people are so much interested about the impeachment process, and people do not take in consideration of the new funding model or the shifting from NIF to SHA. There are many things. There are many events that have unfolded in this country. Maybe we are yet to see some which are hidden, because things like Adani, we never had the knowledge about them. So I think going forward, we are yet to see more, which we do not know about. The issue why the reason why they're impeaching Rigathi Gachagua and they're hastening the process is because we understand that it's all about political process, and there are many interests in it. And we have said that as for right-thinking members of the society, we are very clear from the word go that as we are not interested of capturing power or taking power. We wanted that things to be done on the right way, whereby we wanted to get the overall of the system. We wanted new transformation of the economy. We needed that. Let us go back to the old funding model, because it affects us, the new funding model. And also we wanted that even after we have gone back to the old funding model, let education be free from kindergarten to tertiary level. And also we demanded that there is no need of shifting us from NIF to SHA, and the NIF there are so many corruption. So I think they have not prioritized the issue of the people. But if you ask them again the question, they will tell you that the issue at stake of impeaching Rigathi Gachagua is so important and urgent for the country. So they will not admit that it is not important and urgent. So I think we have said here several times that our leaders have failed us and they are continuing to fail us. And I tend to borrow something from Ayaga that
Mhm.
ODM, his party, of course, has been the forefront of sanitizing this government. And after sanitization, they are being blamed of any drawback of the government, because you are being blamed that they fail or would not to achieve big agenda. So even when they were citing that during Mwai Kibaki, when economy was doing well, they were not mentioning Raila. They were saying that, okay, during Kibaki's time. But Raila was with Kibaki in 2007 in the coalition government, 2013. There were
Co-president.
two people. So they keep on saying that it is Kibaki who transformed the economy of Kenya by that time. But they're not including Raila's name. So it means Raila's been carrying all this burden. At the end of the day, he's being blamed for it.
Okay.
So that culture also should stop with the ODM. If they know that at the end of the day they are being used and dumped, they should not even join to assist this government. Going forward as a country, we need to
No.
focus on real issues on
Okay.
the
Go ahead.
ground that
Mhm.
affect the common people, not issues that affect or have the interest for the politicians at hand.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. I think like it will be incumbent upon the Kenyans themselves to decide on what they want to do. Yeah. If they let the majority of the decision to be made by the leaders that we have, I don't think that that actualization or the Kenya that people are dreaming of will come, because from independence until today, just imagine what we are still fighting as a country. Talk of about what is happening, like the police brutality, talk of about abductions. These are some things that are happening in this age and era. We You see the kind of politics that we are doing, politics of betrayal, politics that do not put the interest of the people's first. In a good country, look at our country now. We do not have a EBC. We do not, but time is not waiting for us. As we still wait for that IEBC, there's a proposal that a member of parliament or a senate is proposing that the time limit should be extended. And you look at the time limit being extended, and what can show that you are doing a good job in your leadership role for the country to give you that time limit? I mean, time extension, Ayaga. What can show that? What can even you can point out the reason why is because he's working so good, or the members of parliament are working so good, so that we need to give them that extension? What informs such like decisions?
If you want a parliament that Kenyans do not have faith in, is this 13th parliament. I think this 13th parliament, I think even the impeachment of Gachagua is just a good thing that parliament is doing. But because nobody now in Kenya, the majority of people do not believe in that institution called parliament. That's why you see many people wanamtetea Gachagua. Yeah, because you cannot take an hyena to be judged by his fellow hyena. You know, hyenas they eat themselves. That is the only animal that eat the fellow hyena.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the problem we have today is our parliament. Our parliament. We don't even have. If we could have a very strong parliament. You remember the parliament we had in 2007. I don't know if it is the ninth or the eighth,
The one
uh,
uh
with Marende as the
Marende, yeah,
speaker.
yeah.
Tenth,
Exactly.
tenth.
They did a lot. Those are the days when the things were tough in this nation. We were post civil war. Then after that, we had a government that had so many problems, like prime minister could go somewhere, complain, sijui, oh, there is no county commission, the provincial commissioner, there is no red carpet. Yeah. So there are a lot of tension. And remember, if you watch the clips of that parliament,
Yeah.
Marende could make what we call the Solomonic
Which,
rulings. Exactly.
yes.
Today, we have an impartial speaker with a majority of MPs that they don't debate, they only vote yes. Theirs is to vote. They are being whipped. They don't have anything. They can't even talk in the floor of parliament. That is what has befallen us.
Yeah.
We have a failed institution that has been captured by the executive, and the executive is using it to do whatever he want to do.
Okay.
So,
You know.
if we could have had a good parliament and
Mhm.
Gachagua is being impeached, we could have believed on our MPs. But these MPs, they pass laws that we don't trust them again.
Okay. You know, you talked of Marende. You know, when there was I think we were still very young, but there was a time when I think the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Kalonzo Musyoka, it's called the business. I don't know. I'm
The
forgetting.
business of house leadership.
Yes, and both the Honorable Prime Minister and Kalonzo Musyoka were fighting over it. Remember, Kalonzo was the vice president, and the Raila was the prime minister. Actually, was supposed to execute government. You know, come and bring government issues. So they were fighting over it, and that day they were going to parliament, and one of them was supposed to be given that post, and the country by then was so much hostile. It was very fragile, and that's when Marendo saved, and he decided to be that person who's going to handle to be the leader of the business of the house. And after that ruling, the country immediately, the country became to the normalcy. Yeah. So sometimes it takes men and women of courage to put their country first, to forget about the self-interest that is serving them. So, and we don't see that in the country, the people that we've given leadership, a situation whereby you put your country first, so that what does the country need and what do I need? So that is something that begs a question, especially it needs the member of the public to answer. And it is something that people need to go back to the history and watch those clips of those parliament and see how Kenya, yani Kenya imepitia hii country. Kama hii Kenya ingekuwa inaweza lia, mazejo, Kenya imepitia.
And Marende goes to the history
Yeah.
of the speakers of this republic as the speaker that his rulings were never challenged anywhere in the court.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. He
And
made rulings, and during those days he could guide the parliament in a way that when parliament make a decision
yeah.
or vote on a matter,
Mhm.
nobody would have dared to take parliament to court. But nowadays, parliament passed something like this one of Gachagua, it will go to court. We had this parliament pass 2020, 2022, 2023 budget. It went to court nullified it. The other one was nullified by the Gen Z.
and if you look at Marende, you know, if you look at Marende, he was a very strong supporter of Baba, you know. But when he was put at the leadership of the nation, his character or his wisdom override that of the party loyalty. He looked it in terms of Kenya is my country. The country is bigger than a political party, and he gave decisions that were for the country, not for the party. Even if you disagree, but he has made a decision. You know, there are cases that rulings that he made that at least propelled our country and gave hope to people that okay, we are headed in the right direction. Which some of them today, you know, you look at you're not even sometimes proud of your country when you see or when you witness some of the judgments that are being made on feelings. Unajua, hatred, you know, upendi mtu So kwa sababu upendi, how do you feel as a country when a MP says that we were told to impeach Gachagua so that so and so would come in? What is your role as a member of parliament? Do you think what is your role? You make decision just because you're told, or you're making decision because it's the benefit of the country? How does it work? And you are elected, it doesn't give good picture for a country, or it doesn't give good pictures as a nation, that a member of parliament can just decide to vote without knowing what you're voting about. So those are some of the questions that now is a school that majority of young people who do not have voters ID or do not have ID, those are the driving factors that should push you to go and get ID and get your voting card, so that you can put your frustration on the ballot box. That's where your frustration should be. Yeah, get ID, put it on the ballot box, then things will work. But if you want to, each and every time you want to bring your frustration on these leaders, there's nothing that is going to change. If there were, I thought there was something that would change, we could have seen. But your frustration, anything that you want, the answer is in the ballot box and your ID. That is what I think, Mr. Yaga.
Exactly. You remember the reason why some of us love history, and that's why we study history, is that parliament of 2008 to 2013. Because by that time, I think that is the year I joined high school. So most of the days, we used to watch the Prime Minister time on Thursday. I don't think if our students today can sit, even me, I don't even sit and watch Parliament, because you are watching for what? Better you watch the Parliament in South Africa. Better you watch even Parliament in somewhere else. But ours now, even the ruling, we are just voting. Our parliamentarians are just for vote, nothing else. You will even, by hearing, you you will get them saying, you put the question, my friend. They have not debated anything. They are telling speaker, put the question. Then the part of our failing governance is on the parliament, the role of parliament. If the house that is mandated, or an institution that is mandated for making laws in Kenya, are feel and is have a lot of jokers and people who doesn't know what they do,
Yeah.
we still have a problem as a country, because a member of parliament taking a vote, and he goes to public and say, we want to say our man will get it. Yeah, so and so is going to get it. Now that's why I impeach the president. Look, even the debate in parliament, I think Rigathi Gachagua has a good case in court. Betty Maina only impeach Rigathi Gachagua because Rigathi Gachagua said this marriage will not last for more than 6 months. Was that one of the ground? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Laban. Hi, brother Ben. Gachagua must fall. He's okay. We are not defending him, my friend. Ruto demolished Kanu, roasted ODM. Okay, okay, ningesoma hiyo. People are not defending Gachagua. Wanasumbua Ruto. They don't care if Gachagua goes. They just defend to Ruto. Everyone is waiting for Gachagua to go ask around, bro. And will he really get that chance? Because let's wait for the ruling that is coming tomorrow. And this is going to make a landmark, I tell you. There are so many questions that is around this impeachment. Leave about legal, even leave about now when you come to political field, where now you ask these questions: what could it be the reason why it is not happening? And also, this one also will point a finger. If you listen, I don't know whether you listen to this young man who said like the president should take that seat apatiane family member yao. Unaona? And you could see the emotions. The emotions are so high, especially in the areas that deputy president is coming from. As much as deputy president is going, sometimes some of the communities, maybe not all, also feel like, oh, we are target. We are used. Who has betrayed who? Who has betrayed who? With Oscar Sudi, I quote saying that after this, he will tell the public what really happened. But you're a member of parliament. Those are now the things that you should bring in the house, because that's where such like matters should be discussed. Tell us the reason why. Because if you if you don't come out and say that in the parliament, so which means he might be impeached on wrong allegation. You have the right one. Come to parliament, make it over there, so that we know. So we know who we are dealing with, rather than keeping them to yourself. And I think he said also that badala ya kuja upande ya viongozi, yeye ako na wananchi. How can a leader say that, by the way? Yeah, where should you should listen to the people. Makobura, habari gani?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm okay. I can see my brother Ayaga in the studio.
Sasa
Ayaga, nimesikia vile amechanganyikiwa na mambo ya law.
na sasa
leo bali ya kwamba
Makobura, leo hata tuoni macho bana. Macho kuna shida bana,
mambo ni mengi, masaa ndio machache.
ama umekula bet, utaki tuone sura?
Acha tu, saa ya Mungu ikifika.
Leo kijana amevaa suti mpaka ameweka flower hapa, ni kama alienda mahali nini?
Unani
Okay, Makobura, I will leave you in brief to hold for me, because like I need to run somewhere with Ayaga. So if you can continue, you are well. Or you will do the second session, but you are free to close the studio. And for myself, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Yaga, for joining. Even though it was a late notice. Migoda, thank you so much for your contribution, especially when it comes to matters to do with the law. We really appreciate your effort, and everyone who was on the show and everyone who is still watching. Mr. Mato, thank you so much for your comment, and thank you so much for watching. I know you are occupied, so you cannot get in, but we always appreciate your support. We thank you so much. Laban, thank you so much. Kivumbi Kisumu, thank you so much. And everyone who was on the show. Migoda, also thank you so much. Makobura, thank you so much for coming in. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. See you.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Ben. Naona sasa mumeniacha hapa, sijui nianzie wapi. Sasa nianze na kutoa hii, alafu Ayaga, mara ya kwanza nataka kukuuliza, unakwanga hapa mwanasheria, lakini leo nimeona umekubali ya kwamba the level of confusion that we are seeing in the analysis of whatever is going on at the parliament and also at the courts concerning the issue of the deputy president is something that is not really clear to the people. But I think it is just okay, because this is a new constitution that we are having, and also it is the first time that we are experiencing such a thing. The impeachment of the deputy president is a new thing to us as a country, and also in the new constitution that we currently have. So it is a test. People will come with different interpretation. Even the lawyers themselves are confused. Personally, I've heard of senior lawyers giving comments. Sometimes I try to realign myself with the comments that they are giving, but then after some time, some of them then comes and then tells you different things. So it is really confusing. But I think the courts are going to give an interpretation of that, of whatever is at hand, and hopefully the level of confusion that we are having as a people, and even among the professionals, the learned friends, the level of confusion that we are seeing in them is also high. So do not fail. Usifikiria kwamba umeachwa, hata wewe uko tu sawa.
Unajua shida,
yes,
shida imekuwa how these people are actually interpreting the law for us. And when everybody, each of them, when they interpreting the law, they believe law is very clear. And some of us, we are telling them, law is not clear. Law is only clear for the person who is interpreting it. And that's why a ruling can be made in a high court. And if you feel unsatisfied, you appeal to Court of Appeal, and you may get some good rulings against a case. So what we are saying it is, I just choose to wait and see, because we were waiting this court order for today, court ruling that were being done today by Muita, Nichacha Muita, I'm a Lawrence somebody. Yeah, so we were waiting for this. Now, from time that ruling was made to tomorrow afternoon, when the parliament, I think in mid morning, when the Senate will start now the real process of hearing the case of Gachagua. I think courts aside, we are only using what is in law now, that we will wait until Thursday when the voting will be taking place. And I'm praying that now the only person that can save Rigathi Gachagua is Raila Odinga. Either he hates him or he loves him, he should go to Karen, have a sit down. And if he cannot reach Raila Odinga, he can actually go to Uhuru Kenyatta, reach out to Uhuru Kenyatta, so that through that link, Uhuru Kenyatta can reach Raila Amolo Odinga, and Rigathi Gachagua may be safe. But by the look of things, Rigathi will be impeached very early in the morning on Thursday. That late night voting will only confirm what has happened on Thursday morning. Yes, Marco Bura.
Okay, that's very true. Naona watu Mato Makandets ananichongoa huku. Anasema mambo mengine hapa, nafanya Kiswahili zangu zote zipotee, lakini nitapambana tu. Yeah, so something else that I think people are also talking about is the truthfulness in how the whole the whole impeachment was carried out, because people are saying that if truly the deputy president is being impeached based on the accusations that we've so far heard of, then almost all from the presidency to the governors and even to some members of parliament, most of them have made this kind of accusations. Most of them have made accusations which are aligning or in one way or another propagating tribalism. Somebody like majority leader, as much as he's now the one who's accusing the deputy president of being tribal, remember he's also had such kind of stance politically, and in so many instances, for them to get relevance, he has been telling the people of Mountain that if they don't get together, if they are not also given the right respect, then as a team, they don't have any power, them being leaders, to proceed. Supporting anyone in government. Sometimes back he used to say that. So why is it that the level of insincerity, why is it that the level of insincerity that we are seeing in the political class is this high? Why is it that the deputy is being impeached based on allegations which not just him, but even the president himself has made? But again, when it comes to talking about his community, the president at some point told us while he was still the deputy, that is Mr. William Samoei Ruto, that the buck stops with the president. How comes now the deputy president is being impeached because he said that he is from the mountain and he is fighting for the people of mountain? We did see him being impeached in the last government, but now even the accusations which are being given out, from where you sit, are you seeing that even the president himself is safe? If suppose then we are supposed to impeach them based on the same allegations that we are seeing uh, being given by the parliament or the people who are impeaching the deputy president, are you seeing from where you sit that even the president is okay or is safe? Because when we look at even the appointments, the PS positions, the heads of parastatals, you know, 90% of them are from one community, and that's a fact. Why is it that we are not accepting the fact that not just the deputy, but the president, not just the president, even the governors, there's a law in Kenya that also talks about how appointment should be done within the county levels. And you remember last time an audit was done, it was said that so many counties had not adhered to that law, to an extent that majority of people who have been given, who are working within those counties, you'll find that they're from one specific ethnic community. But the law doesn't really say that. Why is it that this problem of tribalism, this problem of appointments, we are seeing it in the county governments, we are seeing it in the presidency, we are seeing it even with the president himself. But them, no one is attacking or even reminding them of that. Only one person is being gone. They're going for. Your take, Mr. Eric.
In proper law, two people can kill. You can have two murderers, but one will go to jail, one will walk free. It is how one case is handled, and it is how the other is also managed. I think nobody that we have what we call you are presumed guilty until proven innocent until proven guilty. I think the case of Rigathi Gachagua, the problem is Rigathi Gachagua himself in all this case. You can't blame the president. Yes, we have an instance where the president has made some mistakes, but in this, Rigathi Gachagua will have himself to blame himself. It is how you conduct yourself. It is how you behave yourself. It is how you create friends. Because sometimes what you say, what I can say here, maybe is against the Kikuyu community. Maybe somebody hears me. Tomorrow I go to an interview, somebody look at me, say the name Ayaga. I had, you say you hate the whole community. Bas, I'm one of those community. He will not tell you, but he will deal with you in silence. So that is what I'm trying to bring out. As a leader, let us mind how we talk. And that's why immediately Rigathi is impeached. You see the mouthy leaders who are expecting to have this seat like Kimani Chungwa, they are getting a trap. And as we speak, there is a very good man called the governor of Muranga, the Barua one, the later one, Kangata. You know, Fred Kangata can lobby the MPs and is with a majority of MP from both sides of the political divide at Naivasha, and is really doing a very good lobby. That is a kind of a leader that can unite. Because once you are elected as a leader, don't break the bridges. What you need to do, number one, to create the bridges. Because in politics, everything change. That is what Gachagua never anticipate. In politics, you may be loved today, and let me tell you, immediately Gachagua will be impeached. Even the ground will leave him. Take it to the bank. Even this ground, even we are the people, we are sympathizing with him on the ground, will dump him. Because politics is interest. Yeah. So if it is interest, That interest is what make those appointments go to those tribal, which is very wrong. And that is why we have poor governance in this country. You appoint people from your community for protection. What people used to say long time ago, I want to place my ear everywhere. What they are saying from that corner, there is somebody who will get it, and I will, you know, placing your ear everywhere is what making our country have problems. And this is done by leaders. I always said, and I will continue saying, Kenyans, we are not tribal. Because after these things, we meet in town, we meet in clubs. There is no club that's a section that's now the central Kenyan people dance this side, the western people dance this side, the Nyanza people dance this side. We are not. We mingle, we dance together, we do our things together, we go to the market together, we school together. So we don't have tribal. It is our leaders that are pumping that word tribal on us. But Kenya, I don't think if we are worse in our tribal. Because tribal bring what we call the civil war. And civil war humble nations. If you ask Waganda why they agree for Museveni to rule them even forever and ever, it is because of the civil war they have gone through. Do you ask why the America have the best constitution? It is the civil war. The constitution is made in a way that they are trying to avoid, no matter how the divisive election is, they are trying to avoid going in a civil war way. Look at Rwanda, the same. So I think our politicians should stop this issue of tribalism, because this make a certain community being overlooked by other community. That creates unnecessary enmity for common mwananchi who has no problem and has anything to do with that tribalism.
Okay, sorry, I think we've lost Eric Ayaga. Mkenya Mkora, thank you so much. I've seen your comments. Nimeshukuru sana.
Umetoka kutetea Gachagua, kuweka prosecutions huko.
Gachagua, kutetea Gachagua raundi hii siku rahisi. Naweza fika huko nitolewe mbio sana. Lazima nikuwe radi.
Utakuwa kama Kasamuel marathon.
Hata mambo natoka mbio.
Anyway,
yes, karibu. Welcome to BBM. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for engaging. We really appreciate.
Asante sana. I'm also appreciating you guys. I always watch. Ayaga, I hope uliacha kuni confuse na ule mwingine.
Exactly. I thought you are the one.
Hapana, mimi I've not run for a seat yet. Nikiran mutajua. Now you know who you're talking to. Sasa mimi ile side ingine. I know you very well kutoka side ingine. Yes.
Kenya Revolution. Eh?
But I like what you guys are doing and what you guys are saying. If you look at the comment, wacha tu nianzie hapo, hiyo yenye nimeweka hapo hivyo. You see, when Jesus aliletewa mtu akaambiwa huyu amekosa, alisema nini? Wa kwanza mwenye amekosa, mwenye hajakosa atupe mawe.
Anze kumpiga, and no one really made the first move.
Exactly. Now we also have to go back and look at this thing individually. As Gachagua, is Gachagua guilty of everything that is being accused of? Absolutely yes.
Yes.
Absolutely yes. Everything.
Yes, I agree with you. But then the next question should be: is everyone in that leadership position, are they guilty of the same charges? The answer still is yes.
Absolutely yes. So that is why I was trying to tell people, no one cares if Gachagua goes. No one is defending Gachagua. People are just being defiant. They're just saying, I mean, why Gachagua? Why Gachagua? Why not everyone? Why not this? And also because the leadership, and with an extension, the head of the leadership, who's one Samuel Ruto. That is what people are going against. If Gachagua was being persecuted by either Ayaga here, Gachagua will be home today, not even yesterday. But guys are just going against Ruto because Ruto said this, because guys are just tired of this leadership and this nonsense of leadership that we are being exposed to. So they're not even, no one is defending Gachagua. And let me tell you, I wish, and how I pray, he gets impeached in the morning. I can tell you, you will not see any person huko sijui Mount Kenya yenye wanajaribu kuonesha kaa kuna kitu itatokea. You will not see anything. Everybody will be sawa, imeenda na imeenda, and it's over. Because it's not a movement, it's not anything, it's just kusumbua Ruto. But on a very serious, now on a scholar's side, and as a constitutionalist, it's a very good monumental time for us in our country that he gets he gets impeached. Why? Because we will have set a precedence. And a constitution is a living document that breathes. That's why you guys were talking about the civil war. Yes, that's true. And that is where some of the things like amendments, like when you hear a place like America, they have the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and things like that. And also, Supreme Court laws become law. So a precedence, our constitution is so young, it doesn't have a precedence. So we need to put a precedence there so that we know in the future we are protected. So yes, is he a sacrificial lamb? According to me, yeah, true, kwa sababu wenye persecute pia ni watu wamekosea. But is it necessary collateral damage? Yes. Lady, huyo mmoja mwenye tumeshika, wacha tu deal na yeye, alafu tutashika wengine baadaye. You see, in your village or in your home, ukipata mwizi ameshika TV ya mtu, na unajua pia ule mwingine ni mwizi, uendangi kusema huyu mwingine pia ni mwizi tuue wote. Unashikanga huyo mwenye amepatikana hiyo time, that time, then we can move on to the rest of them. And unless we set this precedence, kwanza the worst thing that could happen if he gets acquitted, because they will always feel like that they can't be touched. We need to make this so painful that you can be touched anytime. And in fact, after the impeachment, I would advocate for prosecution because he would have been found guilty. If you're found guilty, what do? You have to pay something. So that the next one understands. That's what I wanted to say, my big my friends. Asanteni sana, I'm still behind here na wasikiza. Mi naingianga haraka because Kiwanda now lazima iendelee. Asanteni, it's good to see you guys. Asanteni.
Okay, thank you. Maybe before you leave, kama bado uko hapo backstage, I wanted to read a comment here from one very senior lawyer, and this was his opinion on his social media handle. He said that here is what he was saying, that here is what is in his mind about Gachagua's impeachment. Though impeachment is a political process, the courts have the jurisdiction to inquire. The courts have the jurisdiction to inquire into the merits of the findings of the Senate. In particular, the courts have the jurisdiction to determine if the threshold for impeachment was met, and he gave a referral of Martin Nyaga Wambora versus the County Assembly of Embu and 37 others in 2015. That was in the Court of Appeal. Because of the doctrines of the Institutional Committee, the courts will, however, defer to the wisdom of the legislature, absent compelling reasons to the contrary. Similarly, in the matter of the Lands Commission 2015, he goes ahead to say that impeachment or removal proceedings, though quasi-judicial, are not in the nature of criminal proceedings. They do not necessarily require or depend on criminal culpability to succeed. All that is required is that the allegations be substantiated the same way in the case of Sonko versus County Assembly of Nairobi and 11 others. He goes ahead to say that the courts are reluctant to the injunctant on ongoing legislative process, especially where that would interfere with the mandatory constitutional timelines, like in the case of Kariuki Mate and another versus Martin Nyaga Wambora and another, the county government. So it goes ahead here to say that the courts cannot extend the timelines for the debate in the Senate, like in the case of Ferdinand Waititu versus the IEBC and others. And also is giving the examples again in the case of Raila and 5 others versus the IEBC in 2013. So he goes ahead to say that accordingly, it is wrong to say that the impeachment process is just a game of numbers. It is not. It is also unlikely that the courts would issue conservatory orders. The court will likely allow the legislative process to run its course, but the court has the ultimate say in the matter. However, Gachagua is risking too much. If he is successfully impeached, and that is very likely, and his court challenge fails, which is even more likely, he will be condemned to permanent political oblivion like Sonko and Babayao. Gachagua should be consulting his well-paid lawyers. He should not consult his less-paid political or spiritual advisors and resign so that he can live to fight another day. You know, people are having a different opinion. This
No,
is a
and that's very true. So that in the end, because sina time, lakini that's very true. Gachagua, and it's a good thing. Wacha endele kufanya hizo blanda, like I said, so that we make that president. It's good. I don't even know who are these guys wanajaribu kumu-advise, right? Because if you were me, hiyo kitu ningeachana nayo kitambo sana. And I asked a question somewhere the other day, and maybe Ayaga, you will answer me. What is it that is so important to be in government that it's a do or die? You have to fight tooth and neck and kila kitu. I mean, you are a billionaire, you have your money, you kona kila kitu. What is it that is so important to be there? And I've seen this. Remember the Kimunya story? Kimunya who said, I'd rather die than resign. What is it? Yes. I mean, what is so important is that is iko hapo ndani that you have to be there with everything. You have to kill. You have to do nini. Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to a point in our country that we have to start thinking about these questions. Because sometimes we're like the proverbial ostrich. Unaeka tu kichwa ndani ya sand and you say, oh, iko hivi na hivi na hivi. Oh, you take it to the village. Oh, mtu yetu. And all that. Now, that lawyer is right in what he's saying, but how I wish he would have never written that until after. Because it runs the risk of Gachagua running into it and aone na change vitu. Mimi nataka aende na Wakenya wote. I can bet you hata nyinyi, even Ayaga will tell you, I know Ayaga is very smart. Mark, I know you're very smart. I know nyinyi kwa roho yenyu mnataka aende. Ndio tuanze sasa chapter ingine ya kutafuta kuna mtu mwingine, na tuseme hata lazima, sijasema Ruto.
You can see what is in the comment in the screen. Our brother Kenyan Revolutionary is saying that Gachagua is going nowhere. I don't even wait for Justice Muita. Even Chief Onunga could have cut this case early.
And to finish, these courts, they need to also sazingine, because everybody any corrupt person, even the Akasha brothers, ran to the courts and got conservatory orders. To a point, anyone wlisumbua FBI decided to come and just hijack them. Wachukue, by the time you realize wako New York, now they are being sentenced nicely. Remember the chicken gate, where the chicken gate? Wenzao huku walishahukumiwa kamaliza hukumu. Kenyan courts are kangaroo courts, and I'm not afraid to say that. Anyways, guys, wacha niende sasa basi, nitawasikiza hapo nyuma. Ayaga, please comment to my cause, unajua inakuuma. But we're here, tunawasikiza, asanteni.
Okay, thank you. I think Ayaga is also not having a very stable internet, but I can assure you it was a good conversation. It is a conversation that we've gotten to learn so many things, especially on the issue of law. If you are here early enough, maybe you'd have heard from the host, Brother Benson, together with Meguda, together with Eric Ayaga, giving the opinion on what they think, and they have also tried to give an analysis of what is really going on concerning the impeachment of the deputy president. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you, everyone at the comment section, everyone who has been commenting. I am reminding you that this is Brother Benson Media. Here we say that your opinion counts. Kwa vile naona watu wangu wote wameniacha, itabidi pia mimi nitoke kidogo. We will see what will happen next. If you're new here, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. We will really appreciate. You can also take time to invite your friends or brothers or sisters. They can also subscribe to the channel so that they be part of Brother Benson Media. Allow me to take this opportunity to wish you all the best. Have a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening. Until next time, thank you and bye-bye.